What's going on, everybody? I am the Financial Conspirator, your guide for everything financials and conspiracies. Today, we're going to be talking about the acceleration of hyperbitcoinization, an overview of Bitcoin's increasing adoption globally, how the US and institutions are moving and accelerating hyperbitcoinization, and how strategy is leading the charge ahead of all governments. So, U.S. regulatory clarity is leading to institutional confidence. With the repeal of SAB 121, banks are now able to self-custody Bitcoin. Bitcoin as a reserve asset is gaining traction. We're seeing state after state launching a bill or proposing a bill that would allow them to start buying Bitcoin. And there are increased involvements from major financial entities, such as Howard Lutnick's fund, Cantor Fitzgerald, who has just recently launched Bitcoin-backed lending. Cantor Fitzgerald is enabling institutions to leverage their Bitcoin for loans. This points to more firms adopting a strategy like Bitcoin strategy. Not to mention, Cantor Fitzgerald owns nearly $1 billion worth of MSTR shares. Norway owns 500 million, or the Central Bank of Norway owns 500 million. How far are we from seeing the U.S. Strategic Fund buying MSTR or selling bonds to buy MSTR bonds? That would be a net neutral way to get Bitcoin exposure, would it not? Now on to the rest of the world. Russia. Russia is allowing limited investors to buy Bitcoin, and they are recognizing Bitcoin as they are recognizing that Bitcoin could have a role, an economic role in Russia's trade. So Russia oil firms are using Bitcoin and Ethereum to dodge sanctions, increasing the geopolitical relevance of Bitcoin. If you don't think everyone else sees this, if Germany, Cuba, North Korea, all the other adversaries of the U.S. aren't seeing this, they are. And now, where does strategy fit into all this? Strategy holds more Bitcoin than all governments combined. Their strategic accumulation gives MSTR a dominant position, leveraged position in Bitcoin markets. They were able to front run the U.S. government in Bitcoin acquisition. This is not priced in. This is absolutely not priced in. And just taking a look at how much MSTR truly owns of Bitcoin's total supply. Now, there is a little bit of a mix-up here. The lost coins is around 4 million, and this does not account for Satoshi's 1.1 million coins, or it doesn't show it on here. This is courtesy of bitcointreasuries.net. Right, so strategy owns more than all the governments combined. That's the United States has 200,000. China has around 190,000. The United Kingdom sitting on 63,000. MSTR is near 500,000. The only entity with more Bitcoin currently is IBIT. And, some more outflows could absolutely change that. Or a bit more buying could change that. MSTR is still under leveraged. They have massive capital that they have yet to go through. 17 billion available through convertible bonds, which are outperforming Bitcoin, by the way. 21 billion through Strike ATM. Strike is the most liquid and highest performing convertible bond of the last decade, I'm pretty sure. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. 3 to 5 billion via MSTR ATM issuance. And there are 10 billion more shares that got authorized a few months back. So if you think that he's done with this 3 to 5 billion of MSTR ATM purchases, I disagree. Now, how does MSTR use leverage to outperform Bitcoin? Because I know there are a few newbies in here who might not be getting the more nuanced aspects of this conversation. MSTR issues debt, usually at a premium, or borrows money, usually at around 0%. And they use this capital to buy more Bitcoin. So taking debt to buy more Bitcoin. That is how they are getting leverage. Institutional investors see MSTR as a high beta proxy. So I know that people like to say that MSTR at an MNAV of 2 is very overvalued, but we have to take into account that MSTR allows bond traders, bond holders, bond investors who can't buy anything else but bonds, it allows them to have Bitcoin exposure. There should be a premium on that convenience and that service. One quick topic I want to brush back up on is MNAV justification, because I keep seeing comments. MNAV is going to trend towards 1 over time. MNAV doesn't deserve to be above 2 or 3. It's overvalued at 2 or 3. Do you realize NVIDIA trades at a 40 PE ratio? Tesla 120. There are companies that are in the S&P that are trading above 500. I'm not saying that's where MSTR is trending, but let's just put it into perspective. 2 is not some insanely overvalued number. Let's look at why. Okay, MSTR provides Bitcoin exposure to those who legally cannot invest into MSTR. That right there justifies a premium. MSTR takes out debt. They borrow money. They issue debt to buy more Bitcoin. That's leveraged Bitcoin exposure. That's another premium justification. And now let's talk about the products that they're launching. STRK, convertible debt, and STRF, fixed income. They're offering different products for different investors with different risk tolerances. Right? So if you want a yield generating asset with 10%, with a 10% dividend, you've got that. And you still want Bitcoin exposure, you've got that. And you're still outperforming the bond market, you're still outperforming Bitcoin itself, you've got that. The MSTR Convert blend of their convertible bonds outperforming Bitcoin itself. So not only are you gaining Bitcoin exposure, premium justification, you're outperforming Bitcoin, another premium justification. And if MSTR were to tap into just 1% of the global bond market, 1% of the global bond market, that's Apple's market cap. So how many reasons is that right there? And raising another one, Bitcoin per share. You are expecting future Bitcoin per share. So you should be paying a premium because you are expecting something in the future. You're expecting more Bitcoin for your shares. You're expecting MSTR to continue to buy. That justifies paying a premium. You're getting something now in expectation of something in the future. More Bitcoin. Investors will pay a premium for that, especially with the rate MSTR has. I mean, the stockpile that they have. And let's get back into Bitcoin, because I know a lot of Bitcoiners are going to be like, enough with this shit. The business cycle and global liquidity are both trending up and have been for a few weeks now. Global liquidity is making higher highs I mean, substantially higher highs. I think Global M2 saw a 1 month gain that it hasn't seen in 30 months. Fact check me. But this is not noise. This is absolutely signal. Something to keep in your radar. Global Bitcoin adoption wave. Pakistan's crypto council chief says that Bitcoin's price is only heading north. Every country in the world must follow America and adopt Bitcoin, or they are at risk of being left behind. And this is, I'll attribute a great Saifeddin Ammous quote: Bitcoin will not be adopted because it's neat and cool like the iPhone. It will be adopted like gunpowder because you have to. There will not be a choice. Conclusion. MSTR strategic positioning allows it to outperform Bitcoin. Innovative financing bridges traditional markets with Bitcoin. As hyperbitcoinization accelerates, MSTR will cement its role as an institutional leader in the Bitcoin treasury company world. But you can't even begin with MSTR if you don't have Bitcoin. So I will put that on the record. You should be starting with Bitcoin first. 100% of the time, absolutely. You should not be like Gladiator, all due respect. 0 Bitcoin, all MSTR. I own so much more Bitcoin than I do MSTR. It's just that I see the value proposition. I see its potential. And I wasn't early enough into Bitcoin to see its potential or to get in this early as I am on MSTR. $79 billion market cap. 79 billion. We are so early, folks. Stay invested, stay studying, like, subscribe, do all that good jazz. I'm out.